Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by Big League Chew. This is episode 315. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm here with my co-hosts, Nate Reyes and Ryan Ripken. Gentlemen, the postseason is upon us.
Good morrow, gentlemen. How we doing?
Doing great. It's finally October. This is honestly this is what we've been waiting for. Or I've been waiting for months.
Let me ask you this. Did the season, on a scale of 1 to 10, how quickly did this season move for you guys? Or did it
What's
feel?
1, what's 10?
Yeah, it's good.
10 is incredibly fast. 1 is incredibly slow.
Give me like a 6.2.
Yeah, I was going to be in the sevens. I was going to say 7.5. It's weird, though, because I'm at a different angle. I've been used to being in season. So everything feels weird because everything just used to feel like Groundhog Day. And now...
But it feels way faster now.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely a little bit faster, but not too fast.
Because usually I try to gauge it at the end of each season. I'll usually try to pick a significant event that happened earlier in the season. And so the one that keeps popping up with Pujols and Judge and all that stuff, they keep lumping in Cabrera's 3,000th hit, which happened in April. And that's kind of
way long ago.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying. That's kind of what I'm using as my frame of reference right now. And it just seems like ages ago.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if I can really say. I would probably say you guys are both above 5, the midway point.
Yep.
Yeah, we're older than you, so I think that's just what happens with age.
Am I the youngest on this show? Surely I
think
can.
so.
Yes.
Right? When's your birthday, Ryan?
July 26th.
Oh, so he's got me beat
1993.
by 3 months.
Yeah.
Less than 3 months, I think.
I've got him by 2.5.
So if we add up the math there, it's a
We're
facto.
wiser. I'm the wisest, obviously.
And
Okay. All right, guy. I'll probably go ahead and say I'll say a 5-1.
Middle of the road. Sounds about right.
That's about as a Wonder Bread of an answer as you're going to get from me.
Yeah, pretty
Well,
I mean, I
generic.
sprinkled in that 0.1 for a little bit of pizzazz.
Yeah.
Well, because it feels like when you bring up Cabrera, that was a while ago, and even if you're going back to the All-Star game, feels like a while ago as well at the same point, but it really was only 2.5 months, and I think because of how much attention came around with the storylines down the stretch and the Yankees struggling in the second half and all those second half storylines.
The second half has been a lot, yeah.
Yeah, I think the second half
That's a good point.
storylines, the trade deadline, all these things was so condensed that it came and went. But it's oh yeah, Cabrera did hit his 3,000th hit early in the season. Albert wasn't playing much back then, and Adley Rutschman debuted, and the Orioles were still under 500. It feels like that was closer than it was, but I guess that's good. It's been busy. I will say I've enjoyed this second half. I think there's been a lot of exciting parts to this season.
One of which Aaron Judge.
Minus yesterday.
Yeah, minus yesterday. Yeah,
Yesterday
that
was the worst day of the second
That
half.
had to be the most pointless 162 we've seen in a while. Minus a couple cool farewells and things of that nature, but in terms of implications for this month, completely pointless.
Yeah.
One of the more exciting things we've seen of recent note, Aaron Judge finally reaching his 62nd home run. Took him a while. I know Nate had it
For his
locked.
standards.
You had it locked, Nate, but there were some people in our camp that were throwing out the idea or the possibility rather that maybe, just maybe, he'd get stuck.
No, I mean, I think I was getting nervous. I'll definitely admit that. I was definitely getting nervous. But once the Rangers GM came out and said, they were like, we're pitching to him. And when you saw like the support, I just like, it made me happy the amount of baseball fans I saw in Texas. You know what I mean? Like those were just baseball fans. Like they were there to see something amazing. And it just didn't feel that way in Toronto. Like it felt odd, and there wasn't enough of a, probably because it's an in-division thing, but like there wasn't enough like celebrating to be had. You know what I mean? And then when it happened in Texas, I felt good. But once the GM was like, we're coming after him. Yeah. And then the first game of the series, I think it was John Gray starting, and he was just pumping fastballs. And I was like, cool. Set the precedent, because if you're going to fill a zone, eventually he's going to get one.
Well, so are you implying that teams weren't pitching to him before?
Yes, for sure. And I'm not accusing that. Like, I don't think I would throw to him personally.
Yeah, from a winning standpoint, if you want to win the games more, pitch around Aaron Judge. That's usually where
exactly.
it goes.
Like that's what I'm saying. I'm not criticizing teams that avoided him, because that's what you do when somebody's hitting that many home runs in a year and having that kind of season. So it's like I supported that. It made sense to me.
And something
as a
to take
Yankees
into
fan,
account,
I was like, I want to see something, but
something to take into account is like Toronto. They were trying to fend off the teams behind them in the wild card race, because you want to have that top spot, which they ultimately did. But you don't want to sacrifice any potential movement there for the sake of being a part of history, especially if you're on the
That's why,
opposite
like,
end
I didn't really feel that upset about like teams. I mean, I think I was getting upset on like the 3-1 counts, 2 outs, nobody on, like change ups down kind of thing. And I was just like, all right, well, like you can still be like, hey, you know what? I'm a grown man and I can throw 90 something. I'm going to try to go after it. If it's close game, if it's early in the game, if it's, if it's things like that, I get it. You're not trying to give in. And I get the Orioles just being like, you know what, we're tired of being little brothers, so like we're not going to do this either, But the Rangers just whatever. Like they didn't have anything going for them. You don't have to worry about that video being played over and over again inside your same division. You know what I mean? So it's just like
the Rangers are like, we're just here to have a good time. Like we just hope everybody has fun.
Which is cool.
We'll be a part of history.
Which is totally fine.
Let it happen
and it's
here.
Like, yeah, and you could tell the crowd was into it, and I think that's cool. And like, I bet the Rangers are like, yes, like this stadium is finally full. We're finally getting the coverage that we need to show off that like this stadium is sweet, and good for them. Not to mention Stanton hitting one like, oh my God, I don't know if you saw that one.
Yeah, he only hit it. He turned around a 99-mile-an-hour heater and hit it 2 miles to left center.
Put a hole in somebody's chest in like the second deck. But yeah, I was. It was good, man. I was pumped.
Well, so before, just to finish off with that, talking about the 3-1 counts, and newsflash with a lot of things now, guys aren't. It's not like, all right, here at 99, or I'm going to be the big guy and blow it right by you. It's those days have kind of gone,
Sure.
and I remember, it's just like from personal memory, facing the Astros in the minors and being up 2-0, 3-0 counts, no one on base. Did it matter? No. Were we getting an off-speed pitch? Yes. And they could land it. So it's like, that's where the game's evolved to. I think the great part that you brought up of that fans wanted to see something special. I mean, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. These moments don't have the same meaning if people don't have that excitement. If that makes it, like, it's an accomplishment. Like, it is awesome. Like, as fans, you're like, wow. Or for me, like, and as all of us being former players, like, you can really admire what he did. But to then see the whole place have that energy, Like, that's when you look back at the videos and go like, man, you remember when Aaron Judge hit 62 and you could turn off even the if you could mute possibly the commentators or anything, that place was going nuts.
Yeah.
And that's what's so cool about it.
And I like that. I kind of reminded me of like when you see like a no hit or like a perfect game bid in an away ballpark, and your team is down by 7, but you're like, you know what? I might as well see some history. So like, yeah, let's root for this perfect game. That's what I got out of it, and it was cool. And like, the only downside of this is the fact that, you know, the guy that caught it is already like a multi-millionaire. It's kind of lame.
Yeah,
heck of a catch though. You know, he brought the glove. He was ready to go.
You saw my boy jumping down though. You saw that.
Yes, can we please talk about that? The
So
number
smart.
of
Such
the
a smart
number
play.
of idiots on social media being like, this guy wasn't anywhere close to the ball. What is he doing?
Such a smart play.
You just use your head and look at everything play out the way it did. He's banking on a drop ball. He doesn't
get that ricochet.
Yeah, you can't tell that it's going straight into somebody's glove. You think, oh, this as all of this is unfolding, this is like a split second. He has to react.
Right.
So he's going, this could either bounce off somebody, this could bounce off the wall that these guys are standing above. He made the right move. The number of people that did not comprehend that, it was baffling.
Well,
That's exactly what I said about the guy in Toronto. I was like, what are you doing? Dude, just jump.
On live time, though, if you look at it, it looks like he's a good 30, 40 feet away. But, you know, so that's why you're going, well, he's down there now. Hopefully he's okay. Nowhere near it. But, you know, baseball's an analytics game now more, right? So they're probably playing the analytics. Maybe the guy has a 15% chance to catch that in the air. Maybe it hits off someone.
I'm thinking
hits someone
clank
in the face.
off the palm.
Yeah.
Bing bong.
Maybe
right
it's
down
more
there.
wrestling, you know, multiple gloves, not a great communication. No one's calling out I got it, and the ball just clamps.
It's chaos.
It's chaos.
Yeah, it's
so
chaos.
Do we know if the guy was okay when he went down there? That's not like I fell off a little bit. There's some depth to that fall.
Yeah.
Somebody DM'd me and they were like, Nayray, or they tagged me in the post. They're like, Nayray, is this you? I was like, dude, if that's me, I am coming out with 2 broken ankles for sure.
Well, and also, what was the price going on for the ball? So the auctioneer company was offering $2 million.
$2 million.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anyone can do what you want with the ball. You want to give it back to Aaron Judge, awesome. As a fan, you can keep the ball. But a lot of fans, if you say, hey, you catch the 60-second home run ball, a lot of people are probably be like, yeah, $2 million might be nice.
That guy's keeping it. 100%. There's no way he's selling. He's already a multimillionaire. He's like the vice president of a major company.
Yeah. Not to rehash this conversation, but revisiting the conversation of what you would do if you caught the ball. If I'm in that situation, I'm going to forego the $2 million. I'm going to want to meet up with Judge. I want to get all the memorabilia. I want to get all of it signed. And then you get Judge over in a corner and you say, hey, if I create a burner Venmo account for you, you don't need to send me $2 million, but like when you get this paycheck, just like whatever you think is fair. And that way you get a little bit of a payment. You get to meet him. You get the memorabilia. You get the whole experience. That's what you do. So you just make him a burner account.
When Judge is making $40 million a year next year, 30, whatever his pay increase is for this unbelievable season, that he just says like, oh, hey, yeah, I'll slide this under the table. Okay, I'm not going to fully jump on. I'm not jumping into, I'm not Camp Hopper Kyle and jumping into the conspiracy, but that, you know, hypothetically, yeah, that could happen, you know, but I'm not jumping into that conspiracy.
Again, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I just explore any and all avenues. That's what I do here. And I'll let the people decide what they want to run with. Speaking of,
did you see the guy real quick? Did you see the guy, the the Giants canoe guy that hangs out in the bay? Dave. Gets all the home run balls.
Covey Cove Dave.
Did you see that he went to Texas and he like tagged Judge in a tweet and he was like, if I catch this, I'll give it back to you, contingent on that you sign with the Giants. You got to come to the
Giants. That's incredible.
I mean, that's smart right there. McCovey Cove Dave is exploring any and all avenues. That's all I'm going to say.
He's trying to do his part for his team.
That's a big fan right there.
you want to talk about doing your part. Roger Maris Jr. has just been on a heater, just taking full advantage of this window, this opportunity, and he has been on one on Twitter, coming to bat for his dad, proponents of fair, clean baseball, the Yankees, I'm sure.
He made the mistake just joining Twitter, I think.
Yeah,
was the first mistake.
he's been catching the raw end of this deal for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, you could argue it was self-imposed, but just going back to looking at a few of his recent tweets, October 3rd here, he said, and he had some tweets even before this, but going back to October 3rd, he said, Barry Bonds is the best baseball player ever. What Bonds did in 2001 was the most dominant hitting performance ever. I know Bonds is a single-season home run champ with 73 based on the current record books, but home run records have been separated before. I like Judge better. And like you were saying, Nate, before we hopped on, he kind of backtracked a little bit. He went back and forth. He was Camp Hopper Kyle for just a tad. October 4th, the next day, like, he hasn't let a day go by, I think, for like the last week and a half without just dropping a banger of a tweet, regardless whether or not you agree with it. Like, he's getting his numbers, so props to him. October 4th comes out and says, congratulations to Judge and his family on this historic home run number 62. It has definitely been a baseball season to remember. You are all class and someone who should be revered. For the majority of fans, we can now celebrate a new, in all caps, clean home run king. And then follows it up the next day. Says Aaron Judge is the new, in all caps, clean home run king. All the young kids who watch Aaron Judge set the single season record for home runs. You finally have someone to revere. No more trying to explain to you how someone could possibly hit 73 home runs.
I love it. I mean, we're camp clean here, so
bangers
I think...
of tweets. For me, look. And this is something that's been brought up on this show before, but for me, the wildest aspect of all of this is that in the year 2022, we've seen the sport, I won't say collectively, but a significant amount of baseball fans are now discrediting Babe Ruth. They're now discrediting Roger Maris, which never thought I'd see that day come. It's like, what? Yeah. Why are we going after Roger Maris? Like, what did he do to deserve any of this hate? We're now saying that Judge's AL home run record really means nothing. Hank Aaron's been looped into this conversation with the whole greenies, amphetamines, all that. Bond, like, everyone has their take on Bonds. It's just, these are wild times that we live in, and I never thought I'd see the day. I would say the one that surprises me the most probably is Roger Maris. Like, I don't see why I understand why he's part of this conversation because that's the record that's being chased. But why are we discrediting in any regard what Roger Maris did?
I don't understand any of it. I don't understand
none
why
of it
we
makes
have
sense to me.
Like, I've never understood the Babe Ruth slander has been here for a few years now, where it's like, I feel like anybody is, well, if he saw 95 in his era, it's like, stop, dude. Like, that guy had more home runs in a season than any other team combined. Like, all the other teams combined at some points. So it's like, if you're standing up as a monumental figure in your era, how does it make sense to put him down 80 to 100 years later? It's like,
it's all relative. If what Babe Ruth did was so unimpressive, then where were all the other Babe Ruths? Where were all the other Babe Ruths? Where was the access to the training and nutrition that we have today?
Well,
where was that?
Well, if we're talking about nutrition,
this man ate steak and drank bourbon every day.
Yeah.
So
and probably and a lot of it. So the argument and that argument there, it always bugs me because you cannot control which generation you play in. What's going on in the sport? You cannot control it all. All you can control is how do you play during that time frame. And I'm a believer, and I believe if you're a great player, you can play in any time frame, generation. And I get it. People can say the evolution, guys are throwing harder, but you can't discredit players when at that time they were the best of the best in their sport. You can't discredit it. And what Babe did is one of 4 players that hit 700 home runs. So out of the however long it's been that baseball's been around now, only 4 players have ever done this. It's hit 700. Pujols just joined that group. It's special. So don't knock it. And also, I've heard the thing about people saying Roger Maris was hitting guys that used to be selling milk or were paper boys. And it goes again, that's nothing he could control. Control what you could control. And what they controlled in their time was to be the best player that they could be. And you cannot discredit that, whatever your opinion is, because that's for any profession in your life. The world evolves. That's reality.
And that exact point is what I've been thinking this whole time. The way that these anti-Ruth Maris people feel now, like they feel about them now, however many generations down the road, if baseball is fortunate enough to survive, those people are going to be looking back at Aaron Judge and even Barry Bonds going, these guys couldn't do what we're doing now. However, you're able to improve the game, because it's gonna continue to evolve. It's gonna continue to improve. It's gonna become more of a difficult sport to play, which is nearly impossible to fathom. But we're gonna get however many years down the road, and they're gonna be looking back at who we think is the best right now, going, these guys wouldn't hang with us today. And so think of how you feel about Barry Bonds right now. Think about how you feel about Aaron Judge. That's how they felt about somebody like Babe Ruth. That's how they felt about somebody like Roger Maris. It's all relative. That's the entire point that I've been trying to make this whole time.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So Ryan, something I want to ask you, when your dad was coming up on Lou Gehrig's number, did I wasn't obviously old enough to pay attention to details like this, but did like the Gehrig family get involved like during that streak of like, did they start to reach out to you like as a family, and like did they show up to stuff?
Honestly, to me, I can't really remember, like I said, and I feel bad because I probably can go back and find, get more stories and figure out. So I might have to table that for moving forward. So I do a little homework and research, because I was 2. And for the record, I was there at the game.
Yeah.
But the lights were on, but no one was home because I was 2 years old. I was really adorable. Humble brag. And I don't know much about, but what I liked about it, at least, and this is the same thing I want to mirror. I like that people remember whose record's being broken and when it happens, because those names shouldn't be forgotten. Now that Roger Maris's record is broken, his name should never be forgotten for what he accomplished. He's one of a few players that has hit 60 home runs and held this record in the American League, or depending on how you view the home run record, for 61 years. Unbelievable accomplishment. And the same thing for Lou Gehrig until my dad broke the record. Lou Gehrig, that looked like it was never going to be beat, and it was. And I'm glad, though, that people understand how great of a player Lou Gehrig is. So at the end of the day, no matter what, remember, great players accomplish the feats, and then another great player comes along that you hope and breaks it. But the bottom line, they are great players. Yeah. And that should not be discarded in any shape or form.
Yeah. I think that's cool, because like that's what we talk about in baseball more than any other sport, is that like when records get beat, you start to bring up that player more.
Right.
Like we haven't talked about Roger Maris in years, you know what I mean? And now it's like people are starting to learn more about this legendary player, and it's like that. I love that. I love that we bring it back. There were so many weird synonymous things with Judge and Maris in the Yankees in that time, and like the 61-year gap, and the fact that the Yankees fell to 99 and 62 the day he hit that home run. What's like, that's just weird. Like there's just a lot of weird stuff going on, and it just everything was done right. Everything was done exactly how it should have been done.
It's a romantic game. It really is. And
yeah, it is. And I don't know if I'm the only one here, because I know there's a lot of our listeners that are Camp Bonds. I didn't even remember if it was 72 or 73 until they started talking about it within this last week, 2 weeks. I couldn't even remember. So it's like, What record is really there? Like, what record are we really paying attention to? Because there's a movie about Roger Maris hitting 61 in 1961, 61 years ago.
So I have a thought, and I know we've talked about it a little bit, but I think what gets into people's minds of this perception of who they think's the home run king, and they say, well, steroids. I think the bigger part is the steroid era was an exciting time, yet controversial. Mm-hmm. So in your mind, do you think people hold on to that because it was so exciting to see those records and McGwire's home run chase and McGwire Sosa, then Barry Bonds, that the excitement for the game sometimes gets mixed up with, well, hey, here's the reality of, like, it diminished then, some of the performance enhancers, the steroids. I don't know what you guys think about that.
That's the supporting argument anytime. Like anytime someone's in that camp, the fallback argument is the fact that, baseball was better back then. For some people, but like what are you looking for? Are you looking for integrity, or are you looking for entertainment? Are you like, what are you into this game for? You could argue that women in lingerie playing football is more entertaining than the NFL. So it's like, what camp do you want to be in? What's more valuable to you as a fan? And you're always going to differ on that, and I understand that. But I think the true baseball fans, we love that. We love the normal intricacies that people don't pay attention to, and it doesn't have to be backed up with juice heads hitting 60, 70 home runs. We can have normal baseball and we're fine. And we've been fine for all the other years that we don't have someone hitting 60-something home runs.
Let's switch gears here. I got a question for you guys. Do you know one of the 8 teams that plays on Friday? They're from New York. Blue
Knicks?
and orange.
The Knicks. Nailed it.
Close. Close. The New York Mets. Do you know why the New York Mets are playing on Friday? Oh, God. Dude, are you okay, my friend?
Man.
Because I saw the numbers. They were in first place in the NL East for 175 days. So one of those days had to be the last day of the season, right? Like the last series of the season.
I believe so. Yeah.
So surely they're the National League East champs.
Funny how this game works, doesn't it? You win, and didn't they win 100 games? Did they get to 100? I know they
won, maybe.
I think they got to 101. Yeah, they finished with identical records, 101 and 61. But surely they got it done though, right? Against the Braves.
You would think. I thought. Did they not?
I don't think they did, actually.
Oh, no.
I don't think they did. The Braves, your 2022 National League East champions. Make that, did I read correctly, 5 in a row?
They're a problem.
Dude, the Braves are good.
They're not bad. And so it obviously, what would have been worse, just to close this, with that series, it would have been worse if it was in New York when this happened. But Atlanta clearly was on a different, whatever they were on a mission. And they did not let up, and they were firing on all cylinders. Now, it does not feel good for the Mets now because it's going to be an extra obstacle, but are you guys fully off the Mets now? Is that it?
I think the Mets are still good. I mean, I know they're good.
I've never been on the Mets.
He'll never go there. But The Mets are still good. It's just this Braves team is probably better than last year's Braves team.
This team is very much better than last year's Braves team. They won, what, 88 games last year? They won 101?
Sure. I'm saying a regular season, yes, obviously. But I'm saying overall, like, through and through, they ran through the postseason. They're going to do it again. I mean, this is a World Series bound Braves team.
And we can dive into it. The NL is tricky, but even though the Dodgers had all the headlines all year, Atlanta's got a good shot at repeating. They really do. They are a really good ball club, but I think the National League in general is very talented. I think it's going to be a very interesting race, and especially how the brackets are playing out. Guys, we could have some really interesting playoff baseball series, to say the least.
Braves were in first place in the NL East for 8 days.
That's all they needed.
8 days. I cannot explain to you how much joy was in my heart when the Braves did what they did. And just watching the Mets organization and fans just eat themselves alive, crumble, come down to earth, be reminded that they're not the team that they started out as. It was a great day. It was an emotional day. It was filled with much joy, and I'll say it. I said it before. I'll say it again. I couldn't be more out on the Mets. I think they're angels of the East, some might say.
Oh, stop it, Kyle.
Some have said. I won't. I don't know.
I've heard some of that.
I've heard it. It's been kicked around a little bit.
I've heard it a few times. Some may say.
Honestly, I think that's the bracket. If whatever it is, I think that's the bracket you want to be on. Not just saying you want to try to play the Dodgers if you get through the next round, but I think it's better that the fact that the Mets and Braves are not on that same pathway. If the Mets are to win their opening series,
are we running through?
Yeah, we'll get to the bracket and our predictions and all that towards the end. The Phillies, another team to make it in, and I saw this coming back in March. Been saying it since March. Been a real big Philly guy since March. And they're here. They're here.
But what does that mean?
I agree.
What does it mean? They're in the
It means that they're here and that anything can happen. Nate's rolling his eyes at me. Tell me that that's not true. Do you want me to go through... Nate, I know you've heard this. Ryan, you haven't heard... Do you want me to go through my March Madness example again? Do you want me to run through that? I know you've heard it. Do you want me to go through that again? Anything can happen.
So, with you saying that, couldn't anything happen with the Mets?
No. The Angels of the East. Nothing's happening with the Mets. Could not be more convinced.
So
your logic only works for you and your takes. That's all.
Philly. So everyone.
Tell me where my logic fails.
Everyone
Tell
else
me
has
where
a
my
chance
logic fails. It's
except the
bulletproof.
Mets is what I'm hearing. So if we can we get
that's
after
part
this?
of the logic. That's a tangent.
Okay, tangent. Good word.
It's bulletproof. Anything can happen. I'm not writing in the Phillies into the World Series, but I'm also not
writing.
putting the Phillies in the World Series.
Okay, let's talk about. I'll give you the positives of the Phillies. They needed this. They needed to get in with all of the acquisitions that they have made in the last couple of years, and then with Joe Girardi not working out and finding a way to
Philly
make
Rob.
Philly had to make the playoffs. They had to make a statement this year. It has
How
been
about
far too
two
long.
of the longest postseason droughts ending in the same week. How about that?
It's great for the game. I've said it before. Having teams that haven't been in a while, it is great for the sport. What was the Phillies? I know the Mariners. What was the Phillies? 11?
11.
2011, I think.
2011,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
11 years.
It's
Anything can
exciting.
happen. Look, you are not going to get me on board with a team that is considering not even throwing Jacob deGrom in the upcoming wild card series. I'm sorry. Like, jokes aside, you cannot ask me to get on board with a team that's that's considering not even throwing Jacob deGrom in the wild card series. What kind of arrogance is that to think that you're anything, that you can get by a 3-game series without Jacob deGrom? Sure, the arms you got behind him, great. You got a Hall of Famer going game 1, Max Scherzer, great. But to think that you're just going to get by a best of 3 without Jacob deGrom?
I can't wait to hear your prediction on the Mets when we get into it. I don't know what it's going to be, so I can't wait. I can't wait to see who you're picking.
You're in for a big surprise, my friend. You'll never see it coming.
In
Buck,
big surprise.
I trust. In Buck, I trust.
Okay,
I think.
it always comes back to Buck. Well, is Buck the one that has to take the mound and throw 101? Is Buck the one that has to step up in the bottom of the ninth with runners on second and third and 2 outs?
Buck's the one making decisions, and he has way more
Buck
baseball
can
knowledge
make all
than
the
anyone listening to
decisions
this.
he wants, but Buck isn't the one that's taking the field. I got nothing but respect for Buck. I love Buck. I buck and love Buck, but what I'm saying is Buck isn't the guy that has to take the field. Buck is the one that's in the dugout. Buck.
So that was very colorful and beautiful. and shout out, I mean, hey, I love Buck too. I'd love to see him have success because he hasn't had a chance, or he's had chances, but he hasn't gotten to that moment and being in the World Series and having a chance to really win. I would love to see Buck win for that reason alone. But I want to shout out the NL East here for a second. That they have 3 teams that are in the hunt, and apparently the 2 teams that everyone thought would have a chance, the Mets and Braves, it's the Phillies and the Braves, according to Kyle, that have the only chance. But 3 teams getting in, that's great. And actually, if you want to keep flipping around, the NL East and the AL East, shout out to those teams. They've proven to be the best 2 divisions in each of their leagues, respectively.
Respectively, it is the Braves and the Phillies. And you want a hot take? I'll give you a hot take here.
Oh, please.
I'll get in real close for you guys.
The
Miami Marlins
on the mustache.
No, that's just the light, just really bringing everything to life. The Miami Marlins have a better chance than the New York Mets in the 2022 postseason. You heard it here first.
Are we doing predictions right now?
I mean,
Because I think I kind of want to roll the dice and be like, you know what? I'm in on the Mets. I think the Mets are going to actually make some noise.
Well, that would. I don't know why you would waste a pick like that, but each their own, I suppose. Maybe there's some strategy there.
We're going to get to that. I think we'll get into that.
You're right. We are going to get to that. But before we do that, we got to talk about our friends over Big League Chew. And I think Nate, who is just a pro's pro at this, is gonna run us through here, and hopefully without error or slip up. But he's going to tell us about the best bubble gum around.
I don't think I can look at you guys when I do it. I think it messes me up. So
actually, no. You know what? I think I forgot to mention this last time, but I think we're doing it now from memory. No.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what you got. Let me pull it up here. All right.
It's just routine at this point.
All right. Let it eat.
Founded by former left-handed pitcher Rob Nelson, Big League Chew started from humble beginnings in the Portland Mavericks bullpen in 1977. For more than 40 years, the iconic pouches packed with shredded, flavorful bubblegum has become the #1 shredded gum of athletes everywhere. Big League Chew has sold more than 900 million pouches and is designated as the Hall of Fame bubblegum. Grab some gum, head to Big League Chew's social media channels, at Big League Chew on Twitter, at Big League Chew Gum on Instagram. Also check out TikTok to show off your Big League bubbles. You can also find a list of retailers that purchase any of their products directly from their website at bigleaguechew.com. BLC, Big League Chew.
With the added TikTok note, that's impressive, my friend. Let's
done.
run through just let's go rapid fire here on a few storylines before we get into our listener DMs and bracket predictions. Stephen Vogt, homers in his final big league game, final big league at bat. You just love it for the city of Oakland.
Yeah.
And for him and his family, the fact that his kids are able
people
to
there.
Well, maybe more for the fact that for him and his family first, but
yes, him and his family, his I believe 2 daughters were calling it up in the booth. You love that.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was far from sold out in Oakland, and
yeah, I did think of that this weekend, and I did say City of Oakland, kind of tongue in cheek there, but I noticed how the fan base that so desperately wants their ball club to stay in the city of Oakland. I'm glad they really showed out to wrap up the 2022 season. It really means a lot, I'm sure, to those players to have dozens of fans there for the final home stretch.
I gotta shout out Vote a little bit. A friend of the pod, Dallas Braden, put a post up on Instagram.
Yep.
And it was Stephen Vogt before, like pregame, catching a pen, and he's also working on blocking.
I think it was like the day before.
Yeah, working on blocking, and just like it's just, I think when you have professionals like that, you know what I mean. And Stephen Vogt isn't going to go into the Hall of Fame. Stephen Vogt isn't going to be, he's not going to ever have his poster all over, kids' walls growing up and things like that. But I think when you have like true everyday professionals like that in the game of baseball, it's pretty amazing. So fan favorite, in many ways, probably a clubhouse favorite and a true pro. So bravo on a good career that is, hopefully remembered well by A's fans.
It wasn't in that same series, Kurt Suzuki.
Yeah,
his last
also
game.
Kurt Suzuki.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love those. I love these little gestures. I thought that was really cool. And shout out to these guys. Again, we talked about this in the past. These are players that are not going to be Hall of Fame players, but what they provided for fans and their professionalism and what they accomplished as players, I hope that people don't forget that. And shout out to them. It's awesome. Congratulations on tremendous careers.
Yeah, I heard it. Listen to the Sox broadcast yesterday. I was watching 162, and I think they said it best. They said for these teams, and yeah, I'm gonna have to throw a little shade on the Sox here with this statement, but they said for teams not in the postseason, 162 is all about goodbyes. Like you're not worrying about resting guys. You're not worrying about anything beyond that day. And for a lot of these teams, it was purely about goodbyes. You throw statistics out the window. You throw all of the analytics and analysis for that series out the window. And you're just playing ball. You're saying goodbye to these guys who've given so much of their lives to the game. And you just enjoy the moment for what it is. And I think like we said, Stephen Vogt, Kurt Suzuki, guys like that, it was just really cool to see. And I know it's an annual thing, but it never gets old because it's always a new batch of guys where you're like, all right, well, I guess today is the day we say farewell because it's something new, someone new every year, and it's a special time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Vogt with the first career hit as a home run. Last career hit as a home run. That's pretty cool.
Is that what it was? First?
Yeah.
I didn't catch that. That's cool.
First and last, both home runs. That's pretty sweet, man.
That is
awesome. Baseball isn't romantic.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, it's not romantic when you think about how Luis Arraez earned his batting.
You had to go there,
his batting title. Well, I mean, you set me up for it because, look, I couldn't be. You want to talk about being out on the Mets? I couldn't be more out on Luis Ariz. Like this guy has just been a thorn in everybody's side all year. Just
nobody wanted this.
Nobody wanted this, and I mean, if you're going to sit there and tell me that his hamstring was that big of a problem that he had to sit this last week, then tell me why he capped off the season playing the last 2 or 3 games. It's interesting how they sat him during the games where it was still up in the air. Judge could maybe go 4 for 5 or 5 for 5 a game or two during that week. And, coincidentally, we're going to have to sit this one out. But once everything was locked up, there he is out there giving it his all for 161 and 162. Explain that to me. That makes no sense.
Soft. Sat 3 of the last 6.
And that's my point. That's my point. If people, the big argument was, well, it's been nagging him all season. Okay, well, if we're at this point of the season, you're a fraudulent team. You didn't even sniff the postseason. Then tell me why these games matter. Then let him rest.
Sit out the last 6. Then if that's
sit out
the
the
case.
last 2.
Yeah.
He played. It may have been more than 2, but I know he played the last 2. So why not just take an early vacation? Like why force the issue? So that the whole hammy thing, I'm not buying it. I'm sorry, I'm not.
Me neither. On the other side, I know you're about to let everybody know that Jeff McNeil won it on the NL side.
Yeah.
You can't say the same thing. I know he sat 162, but he had played a doubleheader before. And
correct me if I'm wrong,
His team is in the postseason, and they need to get healthy.
And I think he hit 378 to close out the season for the last month and a half.
Honestly,
so
I mean,
not
it wasn't
the same argument.
He checks out. The box is checked for Jeff McNeil. I think he was hitting 287 and then closed to hit 378. I could be wrong on the exact numbers, but it was high.
For how long?
Up there.
Like the last 2 months?
Something
last
like that.
second half, something crazy like that.
And you know what I love for him? He reminded everyone how good of a player he is because he had a down year previously. But yeah.
It was 326 to Friedman's 325. And just to be clear, I don't have a particular stance on the whole Jeff McNeil thing. Like, it is what it is. I don't feel as strongly about that. The only reason I feel as strongly about the Luis Ariz, Aaron Judge thing is because a Triple Crown was at stake. That's really the only reason I care.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. I'm just saying I saw people hating on Jeff McNeil, and I'm like, no, dude, look, it's not the same. Look it up.
Yeah. I don't know. Mike Matheny let go as manager of the Kansas City Royals.
Didn't we just call this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was expected.
episode.
Once they let Dayton Moore go, I think it was just a matter of time.
Mm-hmm.
But I have heard that maybe they're entertaining some options in-house. But if they were to look elsewhere, do we have a pick for who we feel might be a good fit there?
Man, I think also depending on what the roster looks like, again, you're outlooking what are you expecting your team to be in the next year, 2 years, 5 years?
Yeah.
I think that's going to be an interesting part because bringing in a veteran manager that maybe has more experience to get you to the post, like we talked about Don Mattingly in the past, like a guy like Don is not going to go to Kansas City, in my opinion.
I wouldn't.
So
either.
you might go with someone. I would, if it's someone you feel comfortable in the organization looking at, that would make sense to me.
Tell me what that means when you have a consistent voice that grows with your players as they work their way through the minor league system, and then they're starting to come up and they're ready to break in. Tell me what that means as on the player side of things to have that voice consistently as you go through your career.
So, I mean, it definitely can be extremely valuable because, I mean, if you look at it from examples right now and on the big league teams, the Blue Jays, when they made a managerial change during the middle of the year, they went with a person that they felt knew the players and had a great reputation within the organization. Same thing with the Braves in years past.
Yeah.
And it's the same concept where they were able to see these guys grow up and you create a relationship. Now, if the relationships can create trust, so that can help build a bond. But then the problem that happens is that at the end of the day, you can be very close and have great reputations and know that your coach and the player have each other's back. But the reality is then at the big league level, you have to win. So you have to find that formula to work. So if you can find that, which we've talked about what the Braves and Jays are doing right now, that's awesome. But there's a reason why people go out and get more experienced managers. Especially it's like when the Astros, with all the whole situation, and then they got rid of AJ Hinch, they went out and got someone they thought that could help them continue to contend that had veteran presence, and they went and got Dusty Baker. So that's really where that thought process goes. And for Kansas City right now, it's just interesting. I don't know which way they're typically, thinking of going.
You guys may disagree, but I view Kansas City as an exciting opportunity for a manager. Like I do. Even with the way this year went, I just feel like they have some really exciting pieces there, and I feel like it with the right fit that could turn into something special.
I think I would go super young. I think this is going to be a first-time manager, whether
Give me
it's
like an
within
Ollie
or
Marmol
outside.
kind of guy.
Right, exactly, yeah. Yeah, super young and just easy to connect with players, and hopefully as the Royals start to turn a corner, you have an organization that will stay with the guy and not ship him out when they're ready to take that next step into success. But I think young, I think the hire from within, if they have the guy, I like that. I've always liked that. Yeah. But you also have to consider maybe some like second chance managers that are, been chilling on like a bench coach scenario, like a Brad Ausmus type that, may have just didn't get the best opportunity in his first managerial experience, and he's maybe learned a little bit more being on the bench lately. And so, the guys like that too. Joe Espada with the Astros spent quite a bit of time under Dusty. So it's like there's some names that I think are going to try to come in and get their first opportunity or maybe second chance.
Let's switch gears here and run through some of these questions and our bracket predictions now that the postseason is upon us. But before we do that, I'm going to tell you about SeatGeek. Let's see if I can do it from memory. Did you say seats?
Did they start from humble beginnings?
They did not. Well, maybe. They may have had like a rise to rags to riches kind of story.
Yeah.
All right, now you threw me off. Got to get the mojo back. It's the answer
Why
to
would
all
I
your
do
ticket
that?
needs. You're looking for tickets, you have plans of friends or family to make it to an upcoming game or concert, or even looking months ahead to net on a date to get tickets for a slot. With SeatGeek, you can find tickets to games, concerts, shows, and even theater performances with just a few easy clicks. We're making it even better for you if you're a first-time user of SeatGeek. Next time you add some tickets to your cart, use our promo code 30TAKE. That's our social handle at checkout to save $20 instantly off your first purchase as a first-time user. That's all you got to do to save some of that.
Just letting it breathe for a sec. Cold hard cash.
Enter promo code 30TAKE. That's our social handle at checkout. SeatGeek.
Boom.
All right. For the sake of time, let's really cruise through these so we can get to our bracket predictions here. Mama Reyes starting us off says, will the Yankees finally get back to the World Series by beating the Astros? Actually, you know what? So as not to tease any of our picks, do you just want me to run through some of the questions that are bracket related? Just to let the questions be made known.
Yeah, we'll come back to you, Ma. We'll come back to you, Ma.
All right.
Stay tight.
That's Mama Reyes. Liam asked, do the Yankees have the momentum it takes to even make it past the ALDS? Jack asks, he says, no stats. What's your gut World Series matchup? Rome asks, do the Mets get swept by the Padres or do they win one? I love how he's just going into that with the assumption that the Padres are going to win. It's just a matter of whether or not the Mets are going to do anything. Christopher asks, likelihood of Braves versus Guardians World Series. Josh just wanted to throw this out there. He said, thought this might be worth a 10-second segment on the pod. Congratulations, Josh, you're getting your 10 seconds. He says, but Aaron Judge finished the season with more home runs than Joey Gallo finished with hits. Judge finished with 62.
Oh.
Gallo finished with 62 home runs. Gallo finished with 56 hits. Logan asked, is it going to be the Braves Astros again? Because that's my prediction. And then here's a question we can transition into our bracket because this isn't necessarily bracket related. He said, Murray says, have you guys ever rooted for another team to win the World Series even though your team was in the playoffs? For him, as a Dodgers fan, he said it would be pretty awesome to see the Cardinals win with Yachty, Waino, and Pujols.
That's a baseball fan right there.
Yeah.
Loves his team, but loves the sport. But no, I haven't.
And that's what I told him. I was like, I can't recall there being a scenario, but like I can definitely
once they get
understand the
bounced,
sentiment.
Yeah,
Well,
once
I
they
think
get bounced, you got to pick up a new favorite. But I understand what you're saying.
But if your teams aren't really in it for years, like for me, I do have a Nationals, the team that drafted me when they won the World Series. I was hoping that they would pull it off, so that was really cool. But yeah, if your team's not in it, it doesn't make it as hard. But you guys are the one that deal with it on a way more consistent basis than I do. just by the record books.
Yeah, I mean, I think getting bounced is a different question. I think he's saying as long as they're alive and they're breathing, and your team's in it, have you rooted for another team to win it? I feel like the answer is no for me.
No.
But like I said, I can understand the sentiment of maybe somebody
Absolutely.
who's not as attached. And I'm not saying Murray's not attached to the Dodgers. I'm just saying I can understand the scenario where somebody's not
Murray is the
as
Dodgers.
attached. He is the Dodgers.
I love the fact that he just recognizes that this is the last ride for those guys. And like for me, that would be awesome. That'd be cool. Are the Cardinals in my prediction? We'll find out.
Yeah, like if you're a Dodgers fan, you know that the Dodgers are going to be around in the picture for years to come. If you're a Mets fan, I'd feel a little differently because they could get relegated to AAA. We don't know for sure.
Okay.
Time will tell. Time will tell. But on that note, no better time to transition into our bracket predictions. Let's start with the Guardians and Rays. What do we got? Best of 3 for all the wild card matchups. Guardians, Rays.
Nate, you want to lead off?
I think with the Guardians, you have a team that like just they know how to hit. They're professional hitters. I know they're young and they're just still kind of learning and stuff, but it's like this team can hit. They're going to hang around. They're going to play good, sound defense. Pitching has been really solid. The Rays, I feel like their hitting just kind of goes up and down. And, you know, their strength has always been pitching. It'll always be pitching. I think I'm going to go Guardians. I think I'm going to go Guardians.
All right. I think it's great. I love what Cleveland's done. I love their future. I'm taking Tampa. I think Tampa's they've been there. They've done that before. I love what they have accomplished. And I love the fact that they have not hit well consistently and they're having this success. To me,
they're always underrated too.
Tampa is the team. Tampa is one of those teams when you're in the postseason right now, you do not want to face them. You do not want to face
St. Petersburg.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a tough place to go play. But I mean, this is where, and I'm curious. I'd love to see Randy Arozarena, see if he can. He's healthy, right? I'm not losing that. I'm not losing my mind. He's healthy, maybe.
I guess.
I think he just recently came back from something, if I recall.
That's what I thought. But my point where I was going is the Rays just have guys that pop up in the postseason that you didn't know. So who's going to be that next Randy Arozarena for the Rays?
My prediction, shout out Yandy Diaz, by the way. That guy had a stupid year.
Yes.
Look that up, first of all. That guy was absurd this year. Mm-hmm. I think Wander got enough time back, too, right? I mean, he's been back for like a solid few weeks.
Yep, I think it's going to be a great
side
series.
Note,
I really
I
do.
had that Topps home run challenge card. I had that Topps home run challenge card. Wander Franco. I woke up on, I think it was the 3rd, and I was like, oh crap, I need to get this in before the season's over. It wouldn't let me select that date, so I had to pick the 4th.
But he hit it. He hit it on the 3rd, didn't he?
Hit it the day that I missed it, and then just stunk it up the next day. So
that's tough. So now you're picking Guardians.
I mean, regardless, I was going Guardians. The Guardians it's Cleveland versus the world right now. They're feeling themselves. They got the whole city behind them. I'm going Guardians.
And it's in Cleveland, so it's like I feel like that's they know how to rock it out a little bit.
This is what's going to be interesting with matchups because I was just looking up. So the game one starters are Shane Bieber versus McClanahan, and then
who's looked rough lately.
He has. But the interesting one's going to be Tyler Glass now starting game 2.
That's a 3-inning start all day.
But still, I want to see how he looks coming out, and is he going to be fully in that's a tough situation to be. If he can go out there and give you a solid outing, whatever that may be, if it's only 3 innings, however it may be, I think that could be very well the difference of how the series goes, is how his outing and where that tone gets set.
Because
it's an X-factor start.
Do we go full 3? Full 3 games?
Yeah, I could see it. I'll give the Rays their respect. I see it go full 3, but I'm taking Guardians.
I'm going 3 as well.
Guardians, I'm taking Rays. Rays
in 2 or 3?
Let's get spicy. Rays in 2.
Oh.
Hey-o.
I like it.
Do you feel spicy with the Jays and Mariners? I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what? Let's get real spicy with it. The Mariners have something to play for right now. They want nothing more than to bring playoff baseball back to Seattle. They got to the postseason, but they need to bring it back to Seattle. That's what they're playing for. And so, you know what? I'm going to go Mariners in 3.
I like that. I like that a lot. Mariners pitching the Blue Jays pitching is just in shambles. I mean, Kikuchi just got designated to the bullpen within the last couple of weeks, and it's just like Barrios had one of the worst years. It's like I get it. I know you get to the postseason and you can kind of reset mentally, but outside of their lineup, they don't scare me. Shoddy defense, bad pitching. I'm going Mariners. Like you said, I need it rocking in Seattle next series. They need games in Seattle. You can't have this kind of drought and then not get an opportunity to play at home.
Not to mention it would be against the Astros, and I feel like there's something special about that matchup. A little bit of extra juice in that series. So that would be electric.
And I think they're the better team to match up with Houston as well.
Yeah.
I think so too. Of the two, I want so badly for Seattle to win. I really do. Like that is where my heart wants it to be.
Then go, Ryan. Go where your heart is telling you to go. Do it.
It's my heart's.
He's fed up.
My mind's telling me no, but my heart's telling me yes.
Then go with your heart, Ryan. Go with the Mariners. Team America. Baltimore couldn't quite get it done, which is okay. But go with Seattle.
So here's this. All right, I'll go with the heart. I'm going to stay with the Mariners then. I have my doubts. It's going to be a 3-game. It's going to be a 3-game series. I just think the Blue Jays, even though despite their struggles with their staff, they still have some really good starters on the line to start. They are a very talented offense. I get it.
They take game 1. Manoah takes game 1. That's my prediction. But that's it.
But I'm just on the record. I would not be surprised at all. I think that the Blue Jays would, but I really want the Mariners. So I'll stick with the heart here. Sometimes it gets you in trouble. We're going to go with the Mariners in 3.
All right.
Let me ask this question real quick. I'll let you guys. I'll go either way. I'll leave it up to you guys. So my preseason prediction had the Jays over the Braves. But now that we're here, do I have to readjust? Because Nate's team is already out. Nate's AL pick is already out. So, like, for you, it's fair game. But for me, because my team is still in it,
I think you got to adjust.
You're saying I have to stick with my preseason pick?
No, I think you got to adjust.
So you're granting me the freedom to go Mariners here?
Yes, I think you're allowed to change your pick after 7 months of evidence.
If you're not fully sold on that team anymore, but here's the thing though: if the Blue Jays end up still going,
right, which is my point.
Your take is not validated anymore because
exactly.
you jumped off ship.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's what I was. That's what I was assuming.
Yep.
That's what I was assuming.
So all of us are in agreement. Let's get Seattle a home playoff game. Get it back to Safeco. It's not Safeco Field anymore.
T-Mobile, get it back to
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile, baby.
Oh, that's a buzz. You know what? Blue Jays are winning now. Just kidding. No.
Okay.
No,
They
Seattle.
spell center wrong. All right, they don't know what they're doing.
Get it back to Seattle. Get that place popping. We need
right.
it.
All right. Cardinals, Phillies.
Start off, Ryan.
Cards. Cards are
love
the
it.
cards are a destiny team, and I think they take care of business. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it's Cards in 2.
Ooh.
I said anything
think it's
can happen.
I think he's going all 3.
You guys are all
Yeah.
about the 3s. That's fine. I hope as a baseball fan, every series is
I need
it goes
baseball
down
on
to
Sunday.
we need a every game needs to be a do or die game. But I just think the Cardinals. I'm not as a believer in the Phillies that you are, Kyle.
Hey, well, pump the brakes here. I was just about to say, I know I said anything can happen, and that
There it
includes
goes.
When
What
it
do you
comes
call
time
him?
to make my pick.
Camp Hopper.
Camp Hop and Kyle, baby. There it is.
Anything can happen, and that includes when it's time to make my pick, and I'm going Cards in 3.
I'm gonna go Cards in 3 as well, because they're not healthy with O'Neal down, and from everything that of what I've been listening to on MLB Network, apparently the Cardinals really struggle with the hard throwing right-handers. So I think Phillies take game 1. And then Cards take the next 2. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, sticking with that.
I'm going
Go
back
on.
and forth in my head. I don't want to commit just yet.
Oh my!
Camp
goodness.
Hopper Kyle is in prime.
Is this still over the Phillies Cardinals
prime
series?
form. Yes.
You better go.
I thought you were
Go
pausing.
Phillies.
I thought you
Go
were-
Phillies. Go with it.
No,
Yeah,
but
give
only-
me Philly and Atlanta in the DS. I need it. I'm sorry, Albert. This is the end of the road for you and Yachty and presumably Wayno, but it's at the hands of MV3, and that's okay. Like it could have been worse if you're the Cardinals, but we had a magical run, but it's Philly's time now until they get to the DS, but we'll see then. Well, who knows what'll happen then. Mets Padres.
See, that's why I thought you were delaying for a second. I thought
Yeah.
you just were like building up. Here we are at the Mets and Padres.
Oh,
So
no,
go ahead,
no.
Kyle. Go ahead. Give us that prediction, please. For all the Mets nation and Padres nation, Padres nation.
The Friar Faithful. I'm going to, look.
Don't you now just say.
No. Look, I'm going to give the Mets their due.
Now?
I'm going to give the Mets their due. Padres in 2.
What?
Padres in 2.
Nate, I'm going to need a second.
I'm over
gonna
here
need a
writing
second.
I'm over here writing nursery rhymes.
Nate, please go ahead.
I'm backing up my statement from last episode. Padres are the most expensive first round exit. Mets in 2. Are we working our way the rest of the way through the bracket, or are we just working on the wild card rounds right now? Is that all we're doing today?
Oh yeah, I guess that's I mean
Why don't we hold off? Let's just stick to the wild card round.
in my head I had us going the whole way, but I guess it makes sense to just hold off.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
can
that
do
works.
that, but I got Mets in 3 just to get that on the record. I think the Padres find a way to force one, but the Mets they're going to have a date with the Dodgers.
Because it couldn't be cold in Queens.
I hope so.
I would imagine.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think
the
I don't
weather.
know what you guys think about this, but when I think about playoff baseball and you see the weather change and you see the crowd and the players having
100%.
the longer gear on, and it comes full circle in the beginning of April. Some places you're playing at. What do we got? I like hearing that. What do we got?
Friday is 75, but I mean that's a high. So I'm assuming
Okay.
game time is going to be closer to those like 60s, maybe upper 50s. Saturday is a high of 58, which means that game's in the 40s. The old San Diego crew ain't used to that.
You know, of the series though, I'm excited to see what the Padres can do. They got in, and we talked about this earlier. They had to get in. It would be tremendous for them. I will come on here and sing the praises if they do win the series in New York, because for a team that has all these expectations
Which
and that
they
had the
will.
whole Tatis, I still think the Mets. You know, I'm gonna save my if we're holding off our predictions, I'm gonna save my Mets thoughts for later. But stay tuned.
Yeah, me too.
But Padres, they're in it. For you giving the Phillies, the Padres have gone through, to me, with all the stuff and still not having their best player. They still got in. You got star power. Here's your moment. You know, put up or shut up.
Padres in 2. I can't wait. Queens is going to be in shambles. Oh. Brings a tear to my eye just thinking about it. Padres in 2.
Such a hater.
I thought of
Well,
of
what
the hate.
what kind of man would I be if we got to prediction time and I say, yeah, I'm taking Mets in 2? What kind of man would I be?
Well, I will say this
Smart.
though. I always thought if there was going to be a New York team that you were going to hate, it wasn't going to be the Mets. And here we are. You are like how you're acting about the Mets. Like I think you want the Yankees to go on and win the World Series more than you want the Mets.
Ooh, now that would be an interesting question for me. Who would I want to win the World Series?
I love that it's
between
brought
the
up.
Mets and the Yankees. I feel like at this point we just need a New York World Series at this point. Like we just need to. My head would explode.
Oh,
So we can table that one. Table that
Yeah.
one.
Let's
But
table that one. No, I'm a man of integrity. Padres in 2.
Wow. All right.
So Friday we got the Rays and Guardians matching up at
Give me the times. You got the
12:07.
times? Yeah.
12:07. 12:07 Eastern. So you're going to be
Watching
having your
baseball
waffles
all
and
day.
you're going to be having Nate's
9
gonna be
a.m.
having his
baseball? I
his
love
waffles
that.
and OJ watching the Rays and Guardians.
Yes.
that's going to be electric.
Phillies and Cardinals 2:07 Eastern. Mariners Blue Jays 4:07 Eastern, and a Padres and Mets 8:07 Eastern. Prime time.
Big fan. I'm assuming the Sunday games are pretty early if they're necessary. Did I not even have them listed?
Could be TBD.
No, I think they got them. Sunday
if you
is
think about it-
2:07. No, it's
Same?
basically the same. 2:07, 4:07, 7:37, 8:37. So they got rid
The
of
Mets
the
are
12
saying
o'clock
prime
game.
time?
No, that's Phillies Cardinals. That's if necessary.
I was gonna say because next series would be out in LA if the Mets win it. So that'd be tough. That'd be a quick turnaround if they're playing a night
Yeah.
game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have to
yeah,
fly
they're
to the West
7
Coast.
Hey, it
They're
don't matter in the
7:30 on Sunday.
playoffs. You don't need rest. Anything happens, right, Kyle?
Anything happens.
Anything happens.
Padres in 2.
If your teams are enjoying a first round bye, I think we're assuming there's some sim games being played over the next 3 or 4 days, right?
Sure.
Minor league guys coming up and throwing some sessions, some live BP, right?
Safe to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, and then we'll tackle those questions for the teams that are that have the buys for next time, right?
Yeah, I might
Oh, yeah,
keep those
true.
up. I might keep those up.
Yeah.
We can swing back on them. I just want to get the people there.
Sorry,
due.
Ma.
Let it get
Check
their
back
shine.
next week.
Oh, we have some. I have some thoughts on those too.
Oh, you just wait. Anything else, people? For the people.
This is gonna be the longest day ever. Luckily, if you're kind of late to the show and you're listening to it Friday, I mean, it could be a little more exciting. This day is gonna go by real slow for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One day away. And I hope everyone you can. I know Nate's going to be in shambles the rest of the day, but this is what we've been waiting for: playoff baseball atmosphere. You cannot match it. Have it on the TV. You will not regret it. I swear. That's all I got.
Are you
Don't
gonna
go
tell
chasing
people?
curveballs, folks.
Hold on. No. Rewind.
20 second timeout.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna need the full here. Give me your sign off here, Ryan. This is just
I'm sorry, I didn't know if we were fully signing off, but here it is again.
we're fully signing off.
Signing off.
All right. Here, we're gonna have just a brief little workshop here on air. So
Workshop.
when I say, and I don't expect
Speaking of
you to know
shop,
this.
Ryan, what antique shop did you get your chair?
It's
That's unnecessary.
yeah.
But also, yeah, I'm kind of curious too because I need to get that changed.
Built
when
it.
the United
Him and
States
Ollie
was
built
founded.
it.
Yeah.
Quick little workshop here. And I don't expect you to know this, Ryan, but this is just a teaching moment. So when I say, you got anything else for the people? Usually
like
that's the moment where you share any last thoughts, any quotes, jokes, comments, concerns, and then you give your sign off, and then Nate does his sign off, and then I close us out.
Okay. I appreciate the workshop. Felt like a little bit like, you know what? You should know better. And
Not at
I
all.
should.
Not at all.
I should.
No.
Just like I should know how to caption my stories better, which will get better eventually.
2% better every day. That's what we do here.
We're learning. I'm here to tell you I'm not perfect. No one is. No one's perfect. But what you can control is what you do every day. And I hope everyone's having a great day. Kyle, Nate.
Thank you.
And everyone else listening, enjoy your Thursday. Enjoy playoff baseball back. Have a great day. It's a great day to have a day. Boom. Kyle.
Fire me up. Fire me up. Don't go chasing curveballs.
We love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.